Hey, fiddle class, got a tune for you today. It's one that you may already know, and I because it's like one of the best known fiddle tunes, and it refers to the practice of people being put inside barrels and sent over Niagara Falls, which is insane. Um, this is a tune that I learned from my friend Ian Moore. He's a fiddler. And then about a year later, I got to actually study with Alan Jabor, who was the fiddler that kind of popularized this tune. If it hadn't been for him, I don't know if anyone would know it, or it might be something really obscure. And it was then. We kind of think of it as one of those tunes. It was as Alan would say, it was at the middle of the hourglass and almost was gone. But then all of a sudden it came roaring back, and almost everyone knows Over the Waterfall. One of the reasons I wanted to teach this is I think it's a tune that you'll encounter in a jam, and I've taught a lot of tunes you might not encounter in a jam. But you may know this, but I'd kind of like to show some tricks for this tune and some things I think that I do in it. A lot of it I learned from Alan's playing, and some of it maybe kind of came up with my own. But it's a great tune, and a lot of times I'll see people kind of stick their nose up at it, like, oh, it's one of those beginner tunes, or near, near, near. And it's a great tune. There's actually a lot you can do with it. There's a lot you can learn on the fiddle. It's nice to teach because you can break it down into a simple progression of notes, but it also has like some kind of weird notes that are fun. And so I am going to teach you my version of that. I also recorded a very simplified version for the other fiddle class, and I'll post that as well. So if you are like, whoa, 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 you can go watch that and maybe find something in between. I'll play it kind of up to tempo a little bit, and then we'll break it down. All right, so there's a little bit of a over the waterfall, really going over the waterfall. And the tune has a nice kind of descending feel to it. You can imagine kind of going downstream. It certainly starts up high and then goes down to the bottom. This is a nice tune. So a lot of times I like to start that with that D chord I showed you. And neat way to do that D chord is so you put your third finger right there, and then you kind of hammer on or slur into your first finger, so you can get this. Or you even slide into it like I didn't mean to do, but did because I can't help it. So then there's a little Scotch snap. Remember that? We talked about that. So we're going to go to the third finger on the E string. Then the second finger. But one of the ways that Alan would do that is he'd go, or like that. A little slur. It's all that little tricky bowing. I wonder if I can stand back, maybe you can do that. do this thing. So then kind of the same phrase, but instead of just going, you go. It's a little finger triplet, which he was very fond of doing. You can see what I'm doing there. It's messing me up going slow. It's like trying to cut your hair in the mirror. Everything's backwards. So. And then, granted, this is where another thing that I don't hear people doing, but it's in the tune. It sounds cool. So you're going to put your first finger across both of those strings right there. And then you're going to bring in this finger on the A string. Kind of, especially if you can sharpen it a little, it just sounds better. You just leave that down. Then open. And third finger on the D. Then go to a nice G chord. Your little Scotch snap. So we put that all together. So that's that. We're moving a little bit fast here, but I'm kind of banking on you knowing Over the Waterfall. But this is a good way. I just want you to pick up really more of the tricks in there that I'm fitting in there. That like some of them are really hard. That really hard to do. But it's something a lot of people do in waltzes. You know, it's kind of like, but Alan did it a lot. It was one of his kind of signature things. But so then there's that chord that I wanted you to know. And that's really when it hits that C chord. You're playing the C chord too when the guitar goes there. Now here's the other thing. A lot of people just simplify down the low part, I think, and I kind of hate that because it's a lot of fun. If you put some of this other stuff in there, instead of going, you can go roll. We talked about rolling into the unison. A little Scotch snap, then first finger down. This is on the D string, and I sometimes do a little. So you see my bow. See that again. Back up to that D chord, going from the unison, and go back to the unison on the D again. And then that G string to end it. Put a little snap. Sorry. One thing I noticed I do sometimes a little trill. So you can either do that or basically the same thing. One's a little bit more of a Bowie slur. And then you can take the high part and take it down to low strings. Alright? Kind of starts that second finger on the D string, bowing, so you're bowing the A string open. And you're rolling up. And it's just coming back down. You're always droning the string above, right? And then you go back up to that B part. All right. Again, I know I'm throwing a lot at you there, but certainly some tricks to know to make that more fun. And that's a lot of stuff you can actually apply to a lot of tunes. But I do always recommend really trying to exercise your pinky. That's a good pinky exercise. So, there you go. Enjoy going over the waterfall in a safe way. And play it on the fiddle tune. Don't play it in real life, because I'm pretty sure that's highly illegal and you'll end up in jail. Anyways, have a good one.